Hello, Phil here from Wings of Pegasus, and welcome to another video. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. So, every now and again on the channel, I'll make a video that gets a lot of comments, and a lot of comments that are pointing out particular things. And recently I did a video on Emma Robinson, who actually did comment on the video, and Emma's voice, I did say, was something that I'd never heard the likes of before, because it sounded like she was using auto-tune, but she wasn't. That was her voice, that was her vocal technique of flipping to the notes and just having really accurate pitch in order to get her interval so spot on. But anyway, with that particular video, I've had a few comments that I will address in tonight's video, because I do welcome people commenting and coming up with different theories, and especially I think when people claim to be professionals or in the same industry, in the music industry, I tend to take those comments a little bit more seriously, because I think, well, they must know what they're talking about if they are a fellow professional. So we will jump into this first comment, and this person said 302 and 720 are 100% identical, therefore there's comping. As an engineer, I can achieve this kind of results of human imperfection with relative ease. It's not auto-tuned, it's manually pitch corrected with Melodyne. I have explained to that person, and I'll explain in this video, that when I do make a video, any analysis video, I'm taking everything into consideration, and in this particular case, I'm taking into consideration the upload date of the original video, and therefore the audio that is with that video at the time of upload, because that's something that you cannot change in a YouTube video. You can't change the audio. All you can do is cut bits out of your video. The audio in the video that I was looking at was absolutely part of that video when it was originally uploaded. Now, why is this important? Because the video was uploaded 12 years ago, so 2013. And back then, if you're looking to isolate and pitch correct a vocal, I mean, good luck with it, because AI was nowhere near as advanced for AI, stems and isolating stems of songs, which is basically getting the guitar, the drums, the vocals, being able to separate those and hear them independently of each other. That hasn't been as accessible as it is now. I mean, even in the last maybe 5 years, AI, just the way that it works, is always going to get better at what it does. So again, I'm taking this all into consideration. The fact that the video was uploaded in 2013 means that the likelihood of being able to isolate a vocal, take it away from the piano, then pitch correct that voice, put it back into the mix, and for it to sound as genuine as it does sound, is going to be impossible, because the technology wasn't that good back then. Even now, if you do it, you might hear artifacts of the process. So these are all things that I take into consideration, although I don't explain it in the video. Now, because I have been given some timestamps, 302 and 720, I'm going to load up this guy's video, and we're just going to watch through to those points. So this is 257 at the moment. So this was the point at which the person was claiming the bit at 7 minutes and 20 is identical. Now, at 7 minutes and 20, if I move forward a little bit, like this, you will see that it is indeed identical. But a really important thing to notice is when I'm talking about it here, and being so accurate with her pitch. But, of course, she has human vocal cords. So did you notice what I did there? I scrolled backwards. I'm rewinding the video. So I then kind of ramble on for ages. You can see it's in exactly the same place. So now when we get to 720 or 714, this is what we've already listened to. So, and then I jump into it again, even though we're listening to the same thing again, because there are so many things to point out about this vocal, because I've never heard anything like it before in my life, and hadn't heard anything like it before in my life. So that's why I was jumping into the same bits multiple times. But again, going back to this, it's because the person has said that they are an engineer and have made the statement that it's not auto-tune, it's manually pitch corrected with Melodyne. So they've made a statement that is false. The reason it's perfectly the same is because it is the same, and it always will be. And the other thing is that if you take two separate vocals and pitch correct it with Melodyne, those two separate vocals will look different, even though you're snapping them to the same notes or moving them, trying to get them as accurate as possible. The lines of pitch will be different. Whereas when you've got the same audio file, like placing this over itself, of course, is going to match up perfectly. Now, getting into another comment, this person said, I'm not debating the conclusion here, but what I don't understand is why Phil claims that when a voice and instrument are playing at the same time, the voice can't be pitch corrected. I saw him make a similar claim on a video where Ed Sheeran was using looping recently. Stem separation tools will absolutely allow you to isolate the vocals and tune them however you want, and then put them back in the original track. It doesn't matter how much bleed there is between the instruments. Also, whether it's being played to a click is irrelevant. You would just edit the pitch and not the timing. When you recombine it with the original track, it should still be perfectly lined up. I found the argument in both of these videos pretty mystifying. So, I mean, I've pretty much just already covered that the time of the video upload is absolutely essential. So I understand what the person is saying, that in another video of Ed Sheeran recently, i.e. 2025, that would have been possible. You could have isolated his vocal, pitch corrected and placed it back on. The person that finds my argument mystifying is not taking into consideration the technology as it was back then when this video was uploaded. I think maybe when I do make analysis videos, it's really important for people to watch them carefully to see exactly what I'm pointing out, but also see what I'm saying, when the performance is from, when the upload has happened, because all of these things will rule out lots of other variables and explanations. I know that, professional artists, signed artists, and, maybe people who are doing samples, for example, I know that they were taking samples but it wasn't using AI isolation software. They would take the track and invert phase, for example, in order to have the exact opposite of the track to then cancel out the sounds that they didn't want. Obviously, it's a lot more complicated process than I'm saying here just briefly. But like I said, a lot of comments and a lot of people making the same mistake, thinking that what I'm looking at there on the screen now is a different part of the song. It's exactly the same part of the song. So that explains that very easily. Somebody else commented and said that they saw the news report where they went to her house and she did it in front of the cameras for the news crew. So they said they didn't really need to see the analysis, but they were interested in looking at it on a graph. So yeah, this is it. I mean, maybe I can find, if people after this video still think it's not a genuine voice, then I'm sure somebody can send me that news footage, which we can date, and I can test the audio of that, because that wouldn't have been edited by Emma. That then would have had to have been the news crew and the news production team who have then tried to isolate her vocal back when this happened, and then pitch correct her voice for their news bulletin, or before they then release it in the evening for their story. So yeah, it suddenly turns into a hell of a lot of effort. But having read all of the comments and the different theories in the comment section, I still maintain my opinion and my conclusion that I drew about this particular performance. I have now found the news report, which actually happened a week after Emma uploaded her video to YouTube. And I think the reporter is a bit of a skeptic, because he plays the piano and he puts Emma on the spot and says that he wants her to sing Over the Rainbow in the key of C, and they jump into it. And this is all part of the news report. I'll leave the link to this in the description below, but I run her vocal through the pitch monitoring software. Let's have a listen.
Wow, sounds like the real thing to me.
So I'm just going to take this back because, again, just to address the comments, and I know what people are saying, and this is why I said in my original video, I've never heard anything like this before in my life. That is entirely true. And somebody actually said, oh, why have you done a clickbait title? The title was literally me saying that I'd never seen anything like this. And this is why, because look at this, the C4 bang on the line, and the little flip to the A4, the flip up to the C5. She's genuinely doing this. So it is entirely consistent. You know, ever so slightly flat here, on the line, ever so slightly flat. We still get these resets, and then we come down to the C4 again, you know, pretty much on the line. We drift a little bit flat, and then here a little bit below the G4, and then we snap up to the A4. I say snap, she's allowing her voice just to flip to these notes. And interestingly, the pitch monitoring software picked up a harmonic there. It should have been the G4, but it's a G5. But guess what? It's still pretty much perfectly on that pitch, ever so slightly flat, but it's exactly the same as we saw in that first analysis video. So again, I mean, I will say I haven't seen anything that's going to change my mind, and this just speaks to what I was saying in the first place, that it's all genuine. And the fact that this happened so close to that original upload, this is, yeah, even more proof that, yeah, it is her natural voice. And yeah, again, what I was saying in my analysis video is entirely true. So to those people that are saying that I've made a mistake, that yeah, it was possible to do it, she's auto-tuned her voice, or she's used Melodyne, and that, you know, I might have dropped the ball on this analysis because I've got it wrong and all that kind of stuff, I think, well, what we've just seen only backs up my analysis. But it is what it is. It's objective data, and we now have more objective data that backs up my analysis video. And I mean, thankfully, it always tends to be the case that when I do a video that is an update on a previous video where people have questions about it, I can address those questions and then, well, just really show and point out what I was saying in that initial analysis still stands, and yeah, the analysis is still absolutely valid. So anyway, thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you have enjoyed it. Keep those requests for future videos coming through to requests@wingsofpegasus.com. As always, let me know what you guys think, and if you did enjoy this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys at the next one. Rock!